one story I'd like to narrate that Sayyidina Wahhabi radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he mentions a story of a pious person, and he says this pious person, when he was walking, just for us to try and understand where this anger comes from, what happens when someone gets angry, what, regardless of the level of the person, but where do they end up? This person, he was walking and a rock fell. And just before it could hit him, he started making zikrullah.
Meaning he was a pious person.
He was a pious person. And while he was walking, a rock fell from the sky and he started making zikrullah. He didn't dodge, he didn't run, he didn't scream. He just made the dhikr of Allah and he continued. This pious person then saw lions coming towards him and beasts. He never ran. He never did anything, but he continued the dhikr of Allah Azza wa Jalla.
He had so much of
yaqeen
and trust
taqwa in Allah
subhanahu wa
Azza wa
ta'ala.
Jalla.
Subhanallah.
And further, he says this pious person started performing his salah. And when he was performing his salah, a snake, something that most of very people are very scared, even mention the word snake.
We get
The body, you have what they call it, goosebumps.
No, we get gamrat, we get gabrified.
Exactly. So he says a snake.
You just have to mention it, we get scared. It's a snake.
Where's the snake? If you're standing around people and you say snake, everyone jumps. But now he says this pious person, when he started his namaz, a snake rolled itself. Imagine. When we mention snake, people jump. But this pious person, a snake rolled itself and he never broke his namaz.
Allah Akbar.
He continued. He continued reading his namaz, and he says that the snake, it would roll itself on his face. And whenever he wanted to make sajda, it would open his mouth as if it wants to bite him. Just imagine, have that picture. We would be terrified. We would fall unconscious.
Yes, if we see at times a spider, you don't want to go next to that place.
You don't.
But subhanAllah, this person, the snake, it wraps himself around him.
It wrapped itself around him.
His salah.
When he's making sajda, it opens his mouth as if it wants to bite him. But when he does, he moves with his hand and he continues his salah. And he completed his salah. After he completed his salah, you know what happened? Shaitan came to him.
Wow.
Shaitan says to him, I'm the one that have done all these things. I have seen you are truly, truly a faithful person. You have so much yaqeen in your Rabb Azza wa Jal. I won't bother you anymore, with, whispering, whispers of shaitan and all that. I won't. I failed. I have failed to misguide you or to distract you. So further shaitan, you see, he doesn't give up. That's one thing we need to understand. He's an open enemy for those who believe. So he says to him, okay, since I failed, I still want us to be friends. I want, he starts his new trick now. He says, can I tell you what is going to happen to your family after your demise? He says, I don't need to know that from you. He says, okay, he fails on that one. So he says, can I at least tell you how I trap people? How do I trick them? So this pious person, he says, okay, that you can tell me. Shaitan. Now this are the tricks that shaitan plays on people to trap them. And he says the first one is, I make that person stingy. I make him fall into the trap of stinginess. He becomes so stingy, and I always remind him, you have less money, don't spend.
Yes, he becomes kanjus.
Don't spend, you have less money. No, what? Dawat Islami wants collection from you. No, it's too less. Don't spend. Jamiatul Madina
so he puts that fear in
that fear that if he spends, he's going to lose that money. So he becomes stingy. Even where it's important for him to spend, he ends up not spending. Then further shaitan says, then the second trick that I play on people to capture them is anger. Shaitan says when a person is at the state of anger, this is something that we really need to think of. We dislike shaitan. No one, feels that, no, I want to be friends with him. No. But what he says, when a person is at the state of anger, when he's angry, we tossed him around the shaitans. You know, we threw him around. And he gives an example of a ball in the hands of a child. You know, have you seen children holding a ball and throwing it to each other? How they play around with it. Shaitan says, I play with the person who's angry in the same manner.